A patient who had been in a coma for more than 10 years was visited by a nurse on her rounds. However, the nurse took a closer look when the woman began to make odd noises. She was so horrified by what she witnessed that she had to run from the room. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Lisa's lifelong dream had been to become a nurse. She had excelled academically and worked her way through university and college to follow her love. Lisa had a great compassion for people and wanted to help others. She also took good care of her friends and family. It's enough to state that Lisa was ideal for the role of nurse. She was so ecstatic and incredibly proud of herself when she found herself graduating from college and starting her nursing profession. Not too long after, she was working in a medical facility, the Henda healthcare facility in Phoenix, Arizona. This healthcare facility took great satisfaction in providing sophisticated respiratory therapy management and outstanding patient-centered clinical ventilator care. They worked with individuals from a variety of backgrounds in the goal of restoring their health and providing them with a comfortable and happy existence. Lisa had a tour of the facilities on her first day of work. She toured the vast, open building and got to know a lot of the staff as well as many of the patients. In addition to having an amazing appearance, it has the newest technology and the best possible setup for patient care. Lisa felt optimistic and inspired after her first day of work since she thought she could be happy there. She had no idea, though, how quickly things might change and go from wonderful to horrible. Lisa had become accustomed to her work environment and established a daily routine after 8 months of employment. She enjoyed making her rounds at work, giving out prescriptions, interacting with patients, getting to know them, and having conversations with them. The Hacienda healthcare facility was home to some very nice folks. However, she didn't particularly enjoy her work when she had to check on a patient who was unconscious. There was no conversation or humor, yet it wasn't as though Lisa didn't care about this patient, Maria. Checking in on the woman in a vegetative condition was uninteresting, and nothing much seemed to have changed about her. Lisa just walked into her room, gave her a prescription, and departed after making sure everything was how it usually was. Lisa was saddened to see such a lovely little kid in such a deplorable situation, if she was being honest with herself. Maria had been in a coma for more than a decade, during which her condition had not significantly changed. When she was just 11 years old, she was discovered unconscious on a city sidewalk and sent to the medical facility. She was still asleep and unable to narrate her narrative, so there were no clear answers for what had happened to her. She had slipped into a coma quite rapidly and stayed in that state until that day. Naturally, her family was distraught and came to see her every day. They hoped for their lovely, angelic-faced young girl's safe recovery since she didn't deserve this. Unfortunately, it appeared as though she would never awaken from her sleep. Her family began to visit her less and less as the years went by, gradually but steadily losing faith that she would ever wake up. Every day when Lisa entered the room, she knew exactly what to expect and how to proceed. Surprisingly yet, she began to develop a connection with this young woman. Now 21, Maria had developed into a stunning woman, even though she had been asleep. The fact that she wasn't awake to appreciate life was all that was sad. Lisa struggled to avoid being overly involved, thinking back to a time when she was Maria's age. Nevertheless, Lisa was powerless to resist the need to spend more and more time with Maria. She would converse with the young lady, entertain her with music, and even read aloud to her. Lisa began to think of Maria as her own daughter. Nevertheless, there were never any surprises, and her health never changed. Lisa was sent to a different hospital for a number of arduous months. Her supervisors anticipated that as one of the top nurses in the region, she would encourage other nurses to improve. She was saddened not to see Maria every day, but she also considered it as a wonderful honor. Nevertheless, she bid the unconscious girl farewell and assured her that she would return eventually. As the months went by, Lisa was having the time of her life mentoring and encouraging the next generation of nurses. When the time finally arrived for her to return to the Hacienda healthcare facility, she made Maria's room one of her first stops. Lisa felt a peculiar mixture of delight and melancholy, even though she didn't seem any different. She was happy to meet the young woman, but she was still depressed about her state. Upon closer inspection, Lisa discovered something strange about her. Maria started making weird noises like groans and moans. There was a big lump in the middle of her torso, but other than that, she appeared healthy and her medical records revealed no anomalies. Lisa saw from looking over the records that Maria was receiving treatment from the physicians for gas accumulation and that they were even lowering her calorie intake to assist her lose weight and shrink her tummy. Lisa, nevertheless, had a nagging doubt. She put her palm on Maria's protruding tummy and held it there for a considerable amount of time. Lisa's eyes widened in astonishment and fear at that moment. She let out a cry and leaped back, nearly colliding with and toppling over a cart filled with medical supplies. Her heart appeared to be racing 1,000,000 miles an hour, or so she could feel it. She was completely shaken and horrified by what she had experienced. Screaming for a doctor to examine Maria, she bolted from the room. After racing to Maria's room, the doctor checked her tummy. When he examined her attentively, he appeared just as surprised as Lisa. To confirm what they both suspected, that Maria was pregnant, he performed a few tests. It appeared to be a miracle development. How might a patient who had spent 10 years in a coma conceive? The solution, however, is far more unsettling than you may imagine. Lisa got in touch with the police right away. It was obvious that someone had abused Maria by taking advantage of her vulnerability. The personnel at the Hacienda healthcare facility were more than willing to help when the police arrived, collected samples, and conducted interviews in order to identify the reason and perpetrator. The male employee of the medical facility who had mistreated the helpless, unconscious patient was apprehended and prosecuted by the authorities after a few weeks. Fortunately, Maria had a cesarean procedure to deliver her baby, and the medical team gently extracted the infant from her womb. Even with the mother in a coma, the infant was quite likely to survive. The medical professionals were astonished by his resilience and his overall health and strength. Sadly, unfortunately, it appeared as though the infant will be turned over to social services by the authorities. The father was a jailed convict, and Maria was unable to provide for her kid. Lisa was devastated to learn that the baby will be removed and placed in a new family. The fact that they removed the infant boy from his mother looked cruel and depressing. She may have been unconscious, but she wasn't deserving of losing her son. In a frenzied action, Lisa grabbed the infant from the authorities as they gingerly took him out of the medical facility and fled back inside the hospital. She had to get mother and son back together, even though she knew it was ridiculous. When they got to Maria's chamber, the officials who had been pursuing her halted dead in their tracks. They saw as Lisa put the infant in Maria's arms, and then, as if by some miracle, Maria moved, taking her kid in her arms. She opened her eyes and glanced down at the infant. The moment Maria began to come out of her coma, everyone's eyes were filled with tears. Even though Maria had experienced a terrible tragedy, it gave her the willpower to get up and continue living her life with her little boy by her side. What were your thoughts on this amazing tale? If you were Lisa, how would you have responded to learning that a patient in a coma was expecting a child? Have you ever heard of something that strange and improbable occurring? As usual, please feel free to share your ideas and opinions in the space provided below for comments. We look forward to hearing from you. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.